The number one question I get is, how do you do partner lessons? I've been teaching partner lessons for 8 years now, so in this video, I will answer all of these questions. What does a partner lesson look like? How do I get started teaching partner lessons? How much should I charge for partner lessons? How do I sell partner lessons? How do I match up partners? And what do I do if a partner is absent? And stick around to the end and I will show you a sample of my lesson plans for partner lessons along with piano method book recommendations. So question number one, what does a partner lesson look like? A partner lesson is a weekly, usually 40-minute lesson where two students show up at the same time and learn together. The two students are similar in age and also at the same point in their learning progress, so at the same level. Within the partner lesson, we do all of the same things that you would do in a private lesson, but we just do it together. So this would include playing last week's assignment, sight reading new pieces, working on theory assignments, doing some listening, ear training, or games to supplement everything that we're working on. The two students will be working on the same songs, generally speaking. They'll be working out of the same book and they'll have the same assignment from week to week. A few times throughout the year, for example, for recitals, I will let the students pick out a song of their own, something that is just their own, so they'll each have their special project, but it won't be the same song. Sometimes the two partners will play at the same time. Sometimes they'll play a duet with each other. Sometimes they will trade off measure by measure or line by line. And sometimes they will simply sit and listen to the other person play and wait their turn. In certain scenarios, I will give one headphones and work with one privately as well. The great thing about partner lessons is there's so much flexibility, and it makes piano lessons more interesting for the kids too, because they never know quite what to expect when they come to lessons because of the variety of types of activities. Question number two, how do you get started teaching partner lessons? So if this sounds appealing to you, but the idea of switching the way that you teach or the way that you market your lessons feels a little overwhelming, here are some ideas for you. The easiest way to try out partner lessons is to take two of your existing students who are possibly in the same book or a similar book and are close in age to each other and just plan a one-time get-together. So you can email both sets of parents and say, hey, I have this student that I think would get along really good with your son or daughter. We've been working on this theory concept and I have this really fun game. I was wondering, could we do a one-time lesson where they meet together, we play a theory game, and they can play their songs for each other. And you could do this with different pairs of students and just occasionally here and there until you have gotten your feet wet and you feel like, yeah, I really like teaching two students at the same time. Now I have some activities in my toolbox. I feel like I can actually do a weekly partner lesson. Plus, by that point, you already have a couple of pairs of students that have met together, and if they get along really well, there you go, there's your partners. Another way to try out teaching partner lessons is to have two lessons that overlap. So if you already have students that are back to back that are perhaps in the same book or a similar age, you can overlap their lessons. So they get their private time with you, and then they have a little time together, and then the other one has their private lesson with you. This is oftentimes an easier sell for the parents in extending their lesson time, so you won't really have to charge them that much more for that little extended time that happens with their partner. Another thing you can do to try out some partner activities is to host a Bring a Friend to Lessons Day. So students can bring a friend from school, maybe a neighbor, a cousin, and they can come along to the lesson for one day. Now the disadvantage to this is that the other student might not have any musical experience at all, but usually they're having so much fun playing the game or doing the activity that nobody even notices that one person knows all the notes and one person doesn't. They just help each other, and that's kind of a fun way to introduce the idea of partner lessons as well. Once you feel like you're ready to dive into partner lessons, the easiest way to get started with partner lessons are either to pair together two existing students that are in the same book already and have already had a partner lesson that went well, or if you are onboarding new students, find two students that would work well together and they can have their very first piano lesson together. Okay, question number three, how much should I charge for partner lessons? The great thing about partner lessons is that each student will pay a little bit less, but you will be making quite a bit more per hour. As a general rule, consider your private lesson tuition and then reduce that by 15 to 20%. So if your private lesson students pay you $100 a month for lessons, then your partner lessons would be $75 to $80 a month, and that would be two students paying you the $75 to $80 a month. Fourth question, how do I sell partner lessons? This was a worry that I had years ago. I had the idea for partner lessons and I had done occasional partner lessons, but to actually sell it as a weekly tuition option, I was scared that I was going to get pushback from the parents. My thinking was everybody wants private lessons and I'm going to have to talk them into a group setting or a partner setting. But that was not the case at all. In my experience, parents immediately saw the value of learning with a peer. They loved the idea and were totally on board with it. It's actually less of a cost than private lessons. So in my personal experience, the partner lessons sell themselves. So if you're worried about introducing this idea to new prospective students or to your current parents, I would say don't worry about it. Chances are they're going to love the idea. Question number 5, how do I match up partners? The best matches are matches where the two students are the same age, at the same level, in the same grade, and their personalities match. Now that can feel like a perfect storm. So if you can't check all of those boxes, it can still work out. In fact, I've had some partners where the scheduling just worked out for them to work together. They were in the same book, but I just couldn't see them being friends. I went for it anyways, and they surprised me, and in some cases, they become best friends. In some cases, they're having play dates outside of lessons. I've even had one family who moved across the country, and those two kiddos still keep in contact, video chatting each other because of the bond that they formed in their partner lessons. So keep an open mind. At first I thought that little boys would want to be paired with other little boys and little girls would want to be with little girls. But again, I have tried mixed gender partner situations and they have become the best of friends as well. So keep an open mind, but I would say the main thing is that they're a similar age and a similar level so that one is not progressing way faster than the other one. A lot of parents ask me if siblings can be matched up as partners, and in some cases this can work, but it's usually not the perfect situation, and usually it ends up being only temporary. For siblings, maybe an overlap situation would be better so that the older one can move through the concepts faster, the younger one can move at their own pace, and then maybe they can do a theory activity together in an overlap period, or they could do a duet in an overlap period. Question number 6, what do you do if one of the partners is absent? There are several different ways to handle absences and makeup lesson situations, and that could be a whole nother video. Comment below if you would like a video about makeup options. Here's what I do personally, and you can decide if this is for you. I offer 1 or 2 specified makeup days per trimester, plus little slots here and there that I can open up on the My Music staff calendar. Parents know that if they have to miss a lesson, they can sign up for an opening that's available on the calendar. I love this because I don't have to do anything. I just get a notification that they signed up for a makeup slot, and I get to decide when those makeup slots are, no back and forth trying to schedule something. So because it's so seamless, I'm okay with doing makeup lessons this way. Now, when it comes to partner lessons, if both partners are absent, occasionally I will schedule a time for them to both come see me on one of those makeup days. But honestly, if one of them is absent and one of them signs up for a single person makeup lesson, I'm okay with that because it gives me a chance to work one-on-one with the student who showed up for the initial lesson, and then I get to work one-on-one with the student who signed up for the makeup lesson. So yes, I am teaching that lesson twice, so I'm making less money per hour, but it happens so infrequently, and I feel like it's just kind of a nice change of pace. So that's how I handle absences. If you have a question that I didn't address so far, put it down in the comments. I'm going to move on to the sample lesson plan. So for this lesson plan, I am assuming that these two students are 7 years old, that they are both complete beginners, never had a lesson before, and we are just starting out. Just to give you an idea of the flow of a 40-minute weekly lesson with 2 students at the same time, here's a 6-week lesson plan. The method books I'm going to be using for this example are Wonder Keys Primer Book 1 and 2 books from my own personal series, Piano Skill Set Writing Book, the pre-reading level, and Piano Skill Set Technique, also the pre-reading level. All these books are linked down below, along with another set of books that I do also sometimes use, and that is the Piano Made Fun for the Young. However, for this lesson plan, I'm just using the Piano Skill Set books along with the Wonder Keys Primer 1. Week 1, here is your teacher preparation to-do list First of all, you want to go through the piano skill set books and crease every page open. These come with the perfect binding, just like Wonder Keys books. So if you're familiar with this, you'll know that they don't really stay open unless you go through and crease them. So I find it easier to just take care of this on every single page before I even hand the book over to them. Task number 2 is we're going to place the start and stop post-its. The technique book will be start on page 5 and end on page 16. And the writing book will be start on page 7 and stop on page 8. And then we're going to write the students' names. Here's what you'll need. You'll need a piano skill set technique and a piano skill set writing in the pre-reading level for each student. You'll need a metronome, 1 die, 2 pencils, and some sort of timer. The stopwatch on your phone works just fine. As soon as the students come in, we're going to open up with some rug time. The opening question of the day is, do you have any pets? And I find that animals are the easiest things for kids to relate on or talk about, even if they've never met each other before. After our opening question, we're going to work on a new skill out of the technique book. It's left hand and right hand, and there's a metronome activity that we can do. On the next page of the technique book, there's a game called Fast Hands, and we're still on the rug. We're going to move on to the next couple of pages and talk about finger numbers, and we have some finger independence activities that they can just do with their books on the carpet. And then after that, finally, we're going to move over to the pianos. Each student should have their own piano. They've still got their skill set technique book in hand. They're going to go to page 10, and we're going to talk about the new skill, the black key groups, and there's a metronome activity that we can do on the black keys. Moving on to the next pages, as the teacher, you're going to demonstrate pages 11 and 12, which is the right hand play every day and the left hand play every day. One tip to start great warm-up habits right away is to implement a habit tracker system of some sort on these pages. It could be as simple as drawing check boxes at the top of the page or a post-it. On the next page, demonstrate how to play the song Pet Store Window and have the students try it independently, but they're both just going to be playing it by themselves at the same time. This takes a little bit of pressure off so they're not sight reading a song for the very first time with all eyes on them. Then after they've had a little time to try it by themselves and see if they can do it, then they can play it for each other. You don't need to play these pages in class because once they get the pet store window and how to read the pictures, they'll know how to do it. But you can explain that these are a part of this week's assignment, explain the post-it bookmarks, and explain what you expect as far as practicing goes. Now we're going to move over to the rug and get the skill set writing book out. Page 5 has a tracing activity for left and right hand. The next page has a writing activity that you'll do together, and then a timed activity. The final thing we'll do before you send them home is page 7 and 8 in the writing book. Briefly explain the expectation that they need to complete these pages at home, answer any questions they have, and send them on their way. Their at-home assignment for the first week will be skill set technique, pages 5 through 16, skill set writing, pages 7 and 8. Week 2. Here's your preparation to-do list. First of all, you're going to crease the Wonder Keys book and also number the pages. Wonder Keys primer books do not come with page numbers in them, and this makes it a little difficult to communicate assignments. So I like to go through and number the pages before I even give it to the student, and then put in your start bookmark, which will go on page 5, and your stop bookmark, which will also go on page 5 because we're only doing one page this week, and write the students' names in their Wonder Keys Primer 1 books. Prior to the lesson, you also want to review the activity instructions for Wonder Keys pages 3 and 4. There's a couple little activities, and it's helpful to read the instructions before the students are there. Things you'll need for week 2 lesson: the Wonder Keys book for each student, 2 blank pieces of paper, 10 coins or bingo chips, something they can slide along the paper, some sort of timer, and 2 pencils. When the students arrive, they're going to start on the rug with their opening question of the day. Any musicians in your family, sister, brother, mom, dad, will stay on the rug, hand them the Wonder Keys book, and we will meet the Wonder Keys characters and do the grand adventure story and activities on page 3, 4, and 5. Then we'll move over to the pianos. They'll get out their skill set technique book. Starting on page 11, we'll have the students play these songs. Just a tip, whenever reviewing last week's assigned songs, try to mix it up by taking turns playing for each other, or you can roll a die to see who plays which song. You can trade back and forth line by line, or sometimes measure by measure, or they can try playing it simultaneously as a duet. Once they've proved that they can play all of those songs and you've answered any questions, move on to page 17 and demonstrate how to play puppy steps. Have the students try it independently. And then on page 18, demonstrate 2 black key mastery and have the students try it independently. On the next 2 pages, 19 and 20, demonstrate right hand play every day and left hand play every day, and let them know that all of these pages will be assigned to practice at home. Remind them of your practice expectations. Now, still at the pianos, they're going to get out their Wonder Keys book and go to page 5. We're going to sight read the practice on the pathway. Then moving on to the rug, we'll get out the skill set writing book and check their work on pages 7 and 8 that they were supposed to do at home this week. And then on page 9, there is a timed test that you can do together. Their assignment for this week is skill set technique, pages 13 through 20, 13 through 16 being review pieces, and 17 through 20 being new pieces, and just Wonder Keys, page 5. There isn't any at-home assignment in the writing book this week. Now on to week 3. The only thing you have to do to prepare for week 3 is to read over the game instructions in the skill set writing book, page 10. You'll need 1 die and 2 pencils for today's lesson. When the students arrive, send them to the rug, and the opening question of the day, what school do you go to? Sometimes this opens up conversations about school uniforms, friends, favorite subjects, and all sorts of stuff that they might have in common that they haven't talked about yet. While we're on the rug, we'll get out the skill set writing book and go right to page 10. We're going to play the game called Thumbs Are 1. Just a tip, you will be writing in the book for this game. You can ask for a volunteer to use their book if they don't mind, or you can use one student's book today and then play it again on a later date with the other student's book if they are feeling like it might be unfair. You can spend about 8 minutes playing the game and then move on to the new skill on page 11, which is black key groups, and a writing activity. Also look at page 12 of the writing book. Let students know that they'll be completing the coloring part of the page at home. The bottom time test we'll do together at the next lesson. Okay, it's time to go to the pianos, get out the skill set technique book. We have a lot of pages to get through, so you're going to be hearing the students play the majority of pages 13 through 20. These are the previously assigned songs. Again, mix it up how you hear them, and then you'll be introducing some new pages. Pages 21 through 25, talk through or briefly sight read these new songs together, demonstrate or answer any questions that you need to. And then while they're at the piano, they're going to get out their Wonder Keys book and go to page 5. Hear them play the practice on the pathway that they've been practicing at home. And then on page 6, you can sight read these new songs together. Their week 3 assignments are skill set technique pages 17 through 25, 17 through 20 being review songs, and 21 through 25 are their new pages. Skill set writing book, they're doing the coloring assignment only on page 12. And in the Wonder Keys book, they are doing page 5, which is a review page, and page 6, their new page. Now we're at week 4. The preparation to-do list is to read over the game instructions in the Wonder Keys book on page 8 and to cut out the Grand Adventure game cards, which are located in the back of the Wonder Keys book. For this lesson, you'll need those cards from a Grand Adventure game, 1 die, and 1 button or game piece, coin, anything will work for this, a metronome, and 2 pencils. When the students arrive, we go to the rug. Our opening question of the day is sports. What sports do you like? What sports do you play? Anything related to that. While we're there, we're going to get the Wonder Keys book out and play a Grand Adventure, and then we're going to go to the pianos with the Wonder Keys book and have the students play pages 5 and 6, which they've been working on. Staying at the pianos, they'll get out their skill set technique book and they'll be playing you pages 17 through 25. These are their previously assigned pages. At this point, they're feeling a little more comfortable with each other, so you might try some different ways to do duets with each other. And then you're going to look at page 26 and briefly demonstrate how to play 3 black key mastery. Once you feel like they've got it, move on to page 27 and explain the new skill, the music alphabet, and do the metronome activity. Then it's back to the rug, the skill set technique book, page 28, which is a point and speak activity that they can do on the carpet. Staying on the rug, they'll get out their skill set writing book and look at page 12, check over the coloring assignment that they did at home, and then you can do the time test at the bottom of that page together. Look at page 13 of the writing book together. This is the new skill, the musical alphabet. You can introduce the writing assignment, but they will be doing this at home. Their assignment for week 4 is the skill set technique book, pages 21 through 28, 21 through 25 being review pages, and 3 new pages, 26 through 28. Their writing book, page 13, and the Wonder Keys book, page 5 through 7. Page 5 and 6, they've already been playing, and page 7 is the game if they want to try it at home with someone in their family. And we've reached week 5. To prepare for week 5, you simply need to review the activities that happen on Wonder Keys pages 9 and 10. You'll need 2 pencils, 2 coins or bingo chips, and a metronome for this lesson. When the students arrive, have them go to the rug and answer today's question, which is, what is your favorite color? We're going to introduce a new opening habit today, and that is a little pop quiz. Today's pop quiz will be, who can say the musical alphabet backwards without looking? Stay on the rug and get out the skill set writing book and check their work on page 13. Then turn to pages 14 and 15. You can do both of these time tests together at the bottom of these pages, but then assign the top portion of both pages to be done at home. Time to go to the pianos, and we'll get out the Wonder Keys book, review pages 5 and 6, and then we're going to go to our new unit in the Wonder Keys book. So Wonder Keys pages 9 and 10, you're going to read through the Cubs in Subs story and do the activities. On page 11, we're going to sight read their new Practice on the Pathway assignment. Next, we'll get out the Skill Set Technique book, and we'll hear their old stuff, pages 21 through 26. Again, change up how you do this, maybe try something new today, and then show them the new skill on page 29 of their technique book. This is finding middle C with a metronome activity. Their assignment for week 5 is the skill set technique book 26 through 29. They have 3 pages of review, 26 through 28, and just 1 new page, which is the finding middle C page. In their writing book, they'll be doing page 14 and 15, the top portions, and Wonder Keys, they'll just be doing page 11. And we're at week 6. To prepare for week 6, simply review the game instructions in the skill set writing book on page 16. You'll need 2 sorts of game pieces for this, 1 die, 2 pencils, and a metronome. When the students arrive, sit them down and ask them the question of the day, what is your favorite animal? Their pop quiz for today is, raise your left hand, wiggle finger 1. While they're on the rug, get out the skill set writing book and check their work on pages 14 and 15. And now we get to play the game Musical Steps. After about 8 minutes of gameplay, you can move on to the next page in the writing book, a new skill, finding middle C, and there's a writing activity that you can do together. On page 18, briefly explain the instructions so that they can complete this page at home. Now let's head to the pianos and get out the skill set technique book, go to page 26, and hear the students play this page. If all seems good there, you can skip ahead to page 29 and practice finding middle C, and then turn to page 30. This is a new page and a new skill, the white keys, and you have a metronome activity. On the next page, page 31 of the technique book, demonstrate and have the students try this page. Now onto the Wonder Keys book, page 11. Here the students play their Practice on the Pathway, and then look at page 12 together and sight read these new songs. Their assignment for week 6 is the skill set technique book, page 29 through 31. 29 is a review page, and the new pages are 30 and 31. The skill set writing book, they're going to complete page 18, and the Wonder Keys book, they'll review page 11 and work on their new song, page 12. After the first 6 weeks, I would just continue on in the same way. I love to start with an activity on the rug, ask them a question, get them talking to each other a little bit, at least until they start to become friends. And then I like to do a little variety, maybe 1 game every week or 2 weeks, some playing on the keys, some rhythm, some fun characters. I really love partner lessons. It really is the best way, in my opinion, to start the piano journey. So if you're interested in any of the books that I mentioned in the lesson plan, those links are down in the description. And if you want to keep watching small group lessons, some of it works the same way, but some of it is different. So check that video out and I will see you there.